The massive chamber of the Galactic Council stretched wider than any sports stadium on Earth. Hundreds of different alien species filled the floating platforms, each in their own environmental bubbles. Some breathed methane, others needed water, and a few existed as pure energy. They had gathered for what should have been a routine meeting. Ambassador Zektar of the Vron Empire moved to the center speaking platform. His crystalline body stood 12 feet tall, glowing with pulses of red light. The Vron were made of living crystal that could change color based on their emotions. Right now, the aggressive red glow meant only one thing: war. The Vron Empire has an announcement. Zektar's voice echoed directly into everyone's minds. The Vron didn't speak with mouths. They communicated through telepathy, forcing their thoughts into other beings' brains. Elder Counselor Thymine raised his serpentine head. The ancient snake-like alien had led the council for 3,000 years. His scales, once bright green, had faded to gray with age. Proceed, Ambassador Zektar. The Vron Empire claims all human colonies in the Orion sector. The humans have 48 standard hours to evacuate. After that, we will take these worlds by force. Zektar's crystalline form pulsed brighter. Any resistance will result in the complete destruction of the human race. The chamber exploded with shocked voices, clicks, whistles, and other alien sounds of disbelief. Several species literally changed colors from surprise. The floating platforms bobbed as delegates moved in agitation. Elder Thymine's long body coiled tighter, a sign of extreme stress. Ambassador Zektar, this is madness. Humans have been peaceful members of our council for 50 years. They have broken no laws, threatened no one. They spread too fast, Zektar replied. In 50 years they have colonized 30 systems. At this rate they will own half the galaxy in 2 centuries. The Vron Empire must stop this infection before it spreads. In the section reserved for humans, Ambassador Kyle Mitchell sat perfectly still. The 45-year-old man wore a simple black suit. His gray eyes watched Zektar with the same expression someone might use to watch an interesting insect. Next, to him, his aide Lisa Chen typed rapidly on her tablet, her face calm despite the situation. The Altarian delegate, a bird-like creature with brilliant blue feathers, squawked loudly. This is illegal. The Council forbids unprovoked attacks between member species. The Vron Empire no longer recognizes Council authority in this matter, Zektar announced. We have conquered 17 species before joining this council. Humans will be the 18th. Elder Thymine turned his massive head toward the human section. Ambassador Mitchell, the council deeply apologizes for this outrageous threat. We will immediately begin sanctions against the Vron Empire and... Kyle Mitchell stood up slowly. He buttoned his suit jacket with deliberate, unhurried movements. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, but somehow carried to every corner of the vast chamber. That won't be necessary, Elder Thymine. The chamber fell silent. Even the constant humming of the energy beings stopped. Kyle continued in the same calm voice. Earth accepts the Vron declaration of war. If the chamber had been chaotic before, now it became pure pandemonium. The Altarian delegates' feathers stood straight up. Several aquatic species began swimming in agitated circles in their water-filled platforms. The energy beings flickered like strobe lights. Ambassador Mitchell? Elder Thymine's voice shook. Please reconsider. The Vron fleet contains over 3,000 warships. They have weapons that can crack planets. Their empire spans 200 systems. We know, Kyle replied simply. Zektar's form blazed with what the Vron considered laughter. The prey accepts its fate? How refreshing. Most species beg. Kyle turned to look directly at Zektar. Something in the human's gray eyes made the 12-foot crystal warrior take an involuntary step backward. I need to make some calls, Kyle said. Earth will need to notify our colonies about the situation. He started walking toward the exit. Lisa Chen followed, still typing on her tablet. At the doorway, Kyle stopped and turned back to address Elder Thymine. Elder Counselor, I strongly suggest you evacuate any Council observers from Vron space within 72 hours. After that, we cannot guarantee their safety. Are you threatening Council personnel? Thymine asked, his scales shifting to show confusion. Not at all, Kyle replied. I'm trying to protect them. Things are about to become very dangerous in Vron territory. Zektar's telepathic laughter filled everyone's minds. The humans think they can invade our space? With what fleet? Our intelligence shows you have perhaps 50 warships. We have 3,000. Kyle didn't respond to the Vron. Instead, he looked at Elder Thymine one more time. 72 hours? Elder Counselor, please take this seriously. As Kyle and Lisa left, other council members noticed something strange. The rest of the human delegation, 30 people who had been sitting in various sections, were already gone. They had slipped out so quietly that no one had noticed them leave. The Quellian ambassador, a jellyfish-like being floating in a water sphere, drifted closer to Elder Thymine. The humans seem remarkably calm for a species that just received a death sentence. Thymine's ancient eyes watched the door where Kyle had exited. In 3,000 years of life, he had seen many species react to declarations of war. Some raged, some begged, some tried to negotiate, but he had never seen someone accept it with such casual confidence. Alert all council observation posts. In Vron space, Thymine ordered his assistant. Tell them to evacuate immediately. Sir? The assistant asked, confused. The humans have no significant military presence there. The humans just accepted a war declaration from a superior force without hesitation, Thymine replied, his scales shifting to show deep thought. Either they are suicidal, or they know something we don't. Given that humans survived on a death, world filled with predators, diseases, and constant danger, I doubt they are suicidal. Zektar overheard this conversation and laughed again. You give them too much credit, old snake. Humans are nothing but soft, pink mammals who happen to develop spaceflight. In 48 hours, they will be extinct or enslaved. But Thymine noticed something Zektar hadn't. Several other species ambassadors were quietly giving orders to their aides. The Altarians, the Quellians, the Bendathi, all species that had traded with humans for decades. They were all ordering their ships out of Vron space. They had spent 50 years working with humans. They had learned something that Zektar, in his arrogance, had missed. Humans never acted without a plan. And when humans were this calm in the face of danger, it meant they had already won. Their enemies just didn't know it yet. The council meeting officially ended, but the real storm was just beginning. In the chamber, Zektar stood alone on the central platform, his crystalline body glowing with anticipated victory. He didn't notice that every other species was putting maximum distance between themselves and Vron space. 3,000 light-years away, on Earth, Kyle Mitchell's call had already been received. In bunkers hidden beneath mountains, in space, stations disguised as mining operations, and in colony worlds that looked helpless but weren't, humanity began to move. The Vron had made their choice. Now they would live, or die, with the consequences. Admiral Jack Harrison stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance, his hands clasped behind his back. The 60-year-old veteran had gray hair and scars across his face from battles most aliens couldn't imagine. Through the massive view screen, he watched Earth floating peacefully in space. But peace was an illusion that would end in less than 40 hours. Admiral, all section leaders are connected, Commander Alice Murphy announced. The red-haired woman was half Jack's age but had seen more combat than most soldiers twice her years. Operation Prometheus is ready for your briefing. Jack nodded and turned to face the holographic display that showed 200 human faces. Ship captains, colony defense coordinators, and special forces commanders spread across human space. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack began, his voice carrying the weight of command. The Vron have finally made their move. They've declared war, exactly as our intelligence predicted they would within this quarter. None of the faces on the display showed surprise. They had been preparing for this possibility for 5 years. Status report, Jack ordered. Let's start with fleet positions. Captain Rodriguez? Sam Rodriguez, commanding the USS Thunder, appeared on the main screen. Admiral, all 500 combat vessels are in position. The Vron detected only our 50 decoy ships as planned. The rest are running silent in the shadow zones their sensors can't reach. The shadow zones were areas of space where human scientists had discovered natural phenomena that blocked most alien sensors. Pulsars, black hole radiation, and cosmic storms that would interfere with scanning equipment. Humans had spent decades mapping these zones, pretending to avoid them, while secretly using them to hide their real military strength. Weapon systems? Jack asked. All ships equipped with the hybrid technology packages, Rodriguez reported. We've integrated Altarian shields, Quellian pulse weapons, and Bendathi jump drives, plus our own special modifications. The special modifications were humanity's secret weapon. While trading with other species, humans hadn't just bought their technology, they had improved it. Altarian shields were strong, but humans made them stronger by adding rotating frequencies. Quellian weapons were powerful, but humans made them faster by removing safety limitations that other species considered necessary. Dr. Pierce, status on Project Parasite? Jack turned to the chief scientist. Dr. Helen Pierce, a woman with silver hair and sharp brown eyes, smiled coldly. Every Vron ship that has traded with us in the past 5 years is infected. They came to our stations, bought our goods, and left with microscopic nanoprobes attached to their hulls. The probes are dormant now, but on your command they will activate. What will they do? Asked Captain Bobby Chen from the USS Warrior. They'll eat through the hull plating and disable their weapon systems, Helen explained. The Vron will be flying in coffins, not warships. The beauty is they'll never see it coming. The probes are smaller than their sensors can detect. Jack nodded with satisfaction. This was humanity's true strength. While other species relied on obvious displays of power, humans understood that the best weapon was one your enemy never saw coming. Ground forces? Jack continued. Colonel Maria Gonzalez appeared on screen, her face painted with camouflage despite being in a space station. 20,000 Ghost Division operators ready, Admiral. They've been in position for 3 days, floating in vacuum along the Vron's predicted attack routes. The Ghost Division was humanity's most elite and secretive military unit. They wore suits that cost more than most starships, powered by miniature fusion reactors. These suits could keep a human alive in space for weeks, bend light to become invisible, and phase through most known shield types. The technology was a combination of dozens of alien sciences, refined and weaponized by human ingenuity. The Vron don't know humans can survive in vacuum without ships? Someone asked. They know baseline humans can't, Maria replied with a grim smile. They don't know about the genetic modifications, the cybernetic enhancements, or the nanoblood that carries oxygen for days without breathing. We've been very careful to hide our full capabilities. Jack walked to the tactical display showing Vron fleet movements. 300 red dots moved toward human colonies in formation, confident and unhurried. They're not even trying to hide, Commander Murphy observed. No stealth, no deception, just a straight line to our worlds. Why would they hide? Jack replied. They think they're hunting sheep. They don't realize they're walking into a wolf's den. A communication alert blinked. Admiral, the communications officer Danny Wong announced, Elder Thymine from the Galactic Council wants to speak with you. Put him through. The serpentine alien appeared on screen, his scales shifting colors with anxiety. Admiral Harrison, I beg you to reconsider. The Vron are brutal but powerful. Surely there must be a peaceful solution. Elder Thymine, Jack replied respectfully, we appreciate your concern, but the Vron made their choice. They threatened our colonies. Our children live on those worlds. Your military cannot match their numbers, Thymine pleaded. 3,000 ships against your 50. Who said we only have 50 ships? Jack interrupted gently. Elder, you've known humanity for 50 years, but you've never really understood us. We smile, we trade, we make friends, but we never, ever stop preparing for war. Thymine's scales shifted to show confusion. But your defense budgets, your ship construction reports, were fiction, Jack admitted. Every cargo hauler is armed. Every mining station is a fortress. Every colony ship carried weapons along with families. We learned long ago that the universe is dangerous, so we made ourselves more dangerous. The elder's eyes widened. You've been lying to the council? We've been protecting ourselves, Jack corrected. We showed you what you expected to see. A young, peaceful species happy to join galactic society. But elder, humans climbed to the top of our food chain on a world where everything tried to kill us. We didn't do that by being weak. What are you planning? Thymine asked, fear creeping into his telepathic voice. Jack looked at the countdown timer on his display. 37 hours until the Vron deadline. In 6 hours, we're going to give the galaxy a lesson, Jack said. The lesson is simple. Leave humanity alone. We want peace, we seek friendship, but we are always ready for war. And if you lose? Thymine asked. Jack smiled, but it was the smile of a predator. Elder, humans have a saying. It's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. The Vron are bigger, but we're meaner. We've been fighting wars since we learned to walk upright. We've turned war into science, art, and instinct. He paused, looking at the assembled faces of his commanders. Besides, we're not planning to fight fair. Fair fights are for sports. This is survival. After Thymine's image disappeared, Jack turned back to his officers. Final preparations. I want every soldier, every ship, every weapon ready. The Vron think they're apex predators about to feast on prey. Commander Murphy grinned. They're about to learn what Earth's apex predator really looks like. Exactly, Jack agreed. For 50 years we've hidden our teeth. Now it's time to bite. The bridge crew worked with perfect efficiency, each person knowing their role in the coming storm. Outside, Earth continued to turn peacefully, its blue, oceans and white clouds giving no hint of the violence about to be unleashed. In deep space, the Ghost Division operators floated silently, invisible to every scanner, waiting like spiders in the dark. The Vron fleet approached, confident in their superiority, unaware that they were flying into the most carefully prepared ambush in galactic history. Humanity had spent 50 years pretending to be sheep. In 37 hours, they would reveal the wolf. Captain Marcus Reeves floated in the absolute darkness of space, his body encased in the Ghost Division's Mark 7 combat suit. The suit was black as the void itself, covered in sensors and weapons that would make most species terrified. Around him, 200 of humanity's most dangerous soldiers hung motionless, waiting. They had been here for 3 days, drifting like debris along the path the Vron fleet would take. Marcus checked his neural display. The Vron ships would arrive in 50 seconds. His team had spent years training for this moment, learning to fight in zero gravity, to survive in vacuum, to become living weapons. The Vron had no idea what was coming. Ghosts lead to all ghosts, Marcus whispered into his neural comm. The message transmitted directly from his brain to his team's implants, no radio waves that could be detected. Remember, we want survivors. Dead enemies can't spread fear. Make them understand what humans really are. 40 seconds. Marcus could see stars in every direction, the infinite cold of space surrounding him. His suit kept him warm, fed him recycled air, and turned his waste into water and nutrients. He could survive out here for 3 weeks if needed. The Vrani thought space was their domain. They were wrong. Humans had made space their hunting ground. 30 seconds. Each Ghost Division operator had been assigned a specific ship. They had studied Vron vessel layouts for years, memorizing every corridor, every weak point, every system. The Vron had helpfully provided this information during trade negotiations, never imagining humans would use it against them. 20 seconds. Marcus felt his enhanced muscles tense. The genetic modifications had made him stronger than any natural human, able to bend steel with his bare hands. The cybernetic implants made him faster, able to process information at computer speeds. The nanoblood in his veins could keep him alive, even if his suit was punctured. He wasn't just human anymore. He was what humans became when they decided to be predators among the stars. 10 seconds. Space in front of them began to ripple. The Vron were dropping out of hyperspace. 5 seconds. Marcus activated his suit's combat mode, Weapons powered up silently, his vision enhanced, showing him heat signatures, energy readings, and tactical data. 0300 Viron warships appeared in perfect formation. Each ship was 2 kilometers long, crystalline structures that looked like frozen lightning. They were beautiful and deadly, armed with plasma cannons that could turn moons into rubble. The Vron had used these ships to conquer 17 species. They were about to become victims of the 18th. Execute, Marcus commanded. 200. Ghosts moved as one. They fired micro-thrusters, accelerating toward the Vron fleet at speeds that would kill an unmodified human. To the Vron sensors, they were invisible. Too small, too cold, moving too fast to register as anything but cosmic dust. Marcus reached his target, the flagship commanded by Zeknal, brother to the ambassador who had declared war. His suit's molecular adhesion system activated, allowing him to stick to the crystalline hull like a spider. He placed his hand on the surface, and his suit's phase generator activated. This was technology humans had bought from the Bendathi, improved, and weaponized. The Bendathi used it for mining, phasing through rock to reach ore deposits. Humans realized it could phase through shields and hulls just as easily. Marcus passed through the 2-meter-thick hull like it was water. He emerged in a corridor filled with pulsing light, the Vron's method of moving through their ships. The crystalline aliens didn't walk. They transformed into light and traveled through fiber-optic pathways. But Marcus didn't need their pathways. He activated his suit's strength enhancement and began running, his feet cracking the crystal floor with each step. The Vron crew members, he passed barely had time to pulse an alarm before he was gone, moving faster than their light-based thoughts could follow. He reached the command center in 40 seconds. The doors were sealed, but Marcus didn't slow down. He lowered his shoulder and hit the crystal barrier at full speed. The door exploded inward in a shower of shards. The command center was a sphere of pure crystal, with 20 Vron officers, floating in light form at various control stations. At the center, Commander Zeknal pulsed in multiple colors, the Vron equivalent of shouting orders. Marcus moved before they could react. His suit injected him with combat drugs that slowed his perception of time. To him, the Vron were moving in slow motion. He drew his neural disruptor, a weapon that interrupted the electrical patterns that allowed the Vron to maintain their light form. In 3 seconds, he shot all 20 Vron officers with precise bursts. The weapon didn't kill them, but it forced them back into their solid crystal forms and paralyzed their ability to move or communicate. They collapsed to the floor, fully conscious but helpless. Marcus walked over to Commander Zeknal, who was pulsing weakly in distress colors. He activated his suit's translation system. "Commander Zeknal," Marcus said pleasantly. "I'm Captain Marcus Reeves, United Earth Special Forces, Ghost Division. You're probably wondering how a single human just disabled your entire command staff." Zeknal's form flickered. The translator interpreted it as, "Impossible. Humans are weak. Humans are prey." Marcus laughed. "Commander, let me explain something about humans. We evolved on a planet where everything tried to kill us. Predators, diseases, weather, even other humans. We didn't become Earth's dominant species by being prey. We became dominant by being the most dangerous thing on the planet." He activated his helmet's display, showing Zeknal what was happening across the Vron fleet. On every ship, Ghost Division, operators were doing exactly what Marcus had done, appearing from nowhere, disabling crews with surgical precision, taking control of systems. 300 ships, 200 operators, Marcus explained. "Some of my people are handling multiple ships. We've trained for this specific scenario for 3 years. Every movement, every shot, every tactic was practiced thousands of times." The display showed something else. The nanoprobes Dr. Pierce had mentioned were activating. Across the Vron fleet, hull plating began to dissolve. Weapon systems shut down. Engines failed. In minutes, the mighty Vron armada was transformed into 300 floating hulks. "You see," Marcus continued, "you made a critical mistake. You judged us by our appearance. Small soft pink mammals, you thought. But Commander, we're persistence predators. Do you know what that means?" Zeknal's form pulsed negative. It means we're the thing that doesn't stop coming. On Earth, our ancestors would chase prey for days. The prey was faster, stronger, had sharper teeth and claws, but we just kept coming. Walking, running, tracking. The prey would exhaust itself running away, and we would still be there, patient and relentless. Marcus gestured to the paralyzed, Vron officers. Now we've brought that same persistence to space. We spent 50 years pretending to be peaceful while we studied every species we met. We learned your weaknesses, your blind spots, your arrogance. We prepared for this day. The human fleet was arriving now, 500 ships emerging from sensor shadows. They surrounded the helpless Vron vessels, weapons armed, but not firing. We could kill you all, Marcus said simply. It would be easy, but dead enemies teach no lessons. You're going to live, Commander. You and your entire fleet are going to return to Vron space and explain what happened here. You're going to tell them that 3,000 of your best warriors were defeated by 200 humans. He leaned closer to the paralyzed crystal being. And you're going to tell them this. We didn't even use our real weapons. This was just our special forces. We have worse things waiting if anyone else wants to try. Marcus opened a channel to Admiral Harrison. Ghost lead to defiance. All ships secured. 0 human casualties. Awaiting further orders. Outstanding work, Captain, Jack's voice came back. Begin prisoner processing. Make sure they're comfortable but secure. We want them healthy enough to tell their story. Marcus looked back at Zeknal. Your brother, the ambassador, said humans were an infection that needed to be stopped. He was wrong. We're not an infection, Commander. We're an immune system. And we just identified your empire as a threat to our survival. The paralyzed Vron could only pulse weakly as Marcus's team began securing the ship. Across 300 vessels, the same scene played out. The mighty Vron invasion fleet, conquered in less than 10 minutes without a single human casualty. The galaxy was about to learn what humans had kept hidden for 50 years. They weren't newcomers to violence. They were masters of it. And they had just demonstrated that mastery on a galactic scale. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so quiet. Every delegate, from the methane-breathing Zorthians to the energy-based Luminants, stared at the main display in stunned silence. The image showed 300 Vron warships floating helplessly, in Earth's orbit, their crews alive but imprisoned, their weapons removed like organs from a body. Ambassador Kyle Mitchell stood at the center platform, his hands folded calmly in front of him. Beside him, Lisa Chen held a tablet displaying real-time tactical data. The entire invasion had lasted 8 minutes and 37 seconds. As you can see, Kyle said, his voice carrying through the silent chamber, the Vron Empire's unprovoked attack on humanity has been neutralized. No Vron were killed, though several thousand are currently in medical stasis while we treat their injuries. Injuries you caused! Ambassador Zektar's crystalline form blazed with fury. The Vron delegate looked different from before. His confident glow had been replaced by flickering uncertainty. This is impossible. The Vron fleet is invincible. You must have used forbidden weapons, dark matter bombs, singularity weapons, something banned by galactic law. We use no exotic weapons, Kyle replied calmly. Every Vron survivor can confirm this. We used conventional boarding tactics, neural disruptors set to stun, and defensive nanotechnology. Nothing forbidden, nothing genocidal. We were actually quite gentle, considering your people threatened to exterminate our entire species. Elder Thymine's long serpentine body was coiled so tight it looked painful. Ambassador Mitchell, the recordings we've received, they show 200 humans defeating 300 warships. How is this possible? Lisa Chen stepped forward, activating a holographic display. With respect, Elder Counselor, the Galactic Council has always underestimated humanity because you've only seen what we chose to show you. The display showed images of Earth, not the peaceful blue marble the Council knew, but Earth's true history. Wars, disasters, predators, diseases, images of human ancestors fighting saber-toothed cats, surviving ice ages, building weapons from stones and sticks. Our world tried to kill us every single day, Lisa explained. We survived by becoming the most dangerous thing on it. When we reached space and found the Galactic Council, we realized something important. You had all forgotten how to be truly dangerous. Your wars are fought with fleets and numbers. Our wars are fought with preparation and psychology. She changed the display to show detailed scans of every Council species, biological weaknesses, technological blind spots, psychological profiles, military doctrines, all mapped out in terrifying detail. The Altarian delegate's feathers stood straight up in alarm. You've been studying us like prey. Like potential threats, Kyle corrected. We studied you because we needed to be ready if any of you decided to attack us. The Vron proved our caution was justified. This is outrageous. Zektar pulsed. You cannot treat Council species like specimens. Kyle's expression hardened slightly. Ambassador Zektar, your empire has conquered 17 species. You've destroyed entire civilizations. You declared war on our children, our colonies where families live. Did you really think we would just accept extinction? The display changed again, showing the Ghost Division in action. The recording from Marcus's helmet cam played, showing him single-handedly disabling a Vron command center. Dozens of similar recordings played simultaneously, humans moving through Vron ships like shadows, appearing from nowhere, striking, with perfect precision. These are our Ghost Division operators, Kyle explained. Each one has been genetically modified, cybernetically enhanced, and trained since childhood for combat. They can survive in vacuum for weeks, phase through shields, and process combat data at superhuman speeds. We have 20,000 of them. The chamber erupted in fearful whispers. The Quellian ambassador's watery form rippled with distress. 20,000 super soldiers? Plus 500 warships you didn't know we had, Lisa added. Plus defensive satellites around every human colony armed with weapons reverse-engineered from a dozen different species. Plus underground bunkers on every world, stocked for decade-long sieges. Plus, enough! Elder Tymine interrupted, his scales now showing deep fear. We understand. Humanity is extensively prepared. Kyle nodded. We don't want to be anyone's enemy. We want trade, friendship, cultural exchange. But we will never ever be anyone's victim. Ambassador Kree of the Bendathi spoke up, their crystalline form chiming softly. What will you do with the captured Vron fleet? According to Galactic Law Article 7 regarding defensive warfare, all captured vessels and technology belong to the Defender, Kyle replied. We're claiming all 300 ships. The crews will be returned to Vron space after they sign non-aggression pacts and undergo psychological evaluation. Psychological evaluation? Thymine asked. Lisa pulled up another display showing brain scans of Vron prisoners. We want to understand why they thought attacking humanity was a good idea. Our psychologists are fascinated by their complete failure to recognize danger signs. It's like a form of selective blindness. You're experimenting on them, Zektar accused. We're studying them, Kyle corrected. Non-invasively. We want to understand the thought process that leads a species to attack others without provocation. It's academically interesting. The threat in those words was clear. Humanity wasn't just defeating enemies. They were studying them, learning from them, preparing for next time. Elder Thymine slowly uncoiled, his ancient body trembling slightly. Ambassador Mitchell, what are humanity's intentions going forward? Kyle smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. We propose a new addition to the Galactic Charter. Any species that declares war on humanity will face similar consequences. We've prepared contingency plans for every known spacefaring civilization. The chamber went cold. Several energy beings actually dimmed. You have battle plans for all of us? The Zorthian ambassador wheezed through their methane filter. Defensive plans, Kyle emphasized. We don't want to use them. But yes, we have detailed strategies for neutralizing any threat to human survival. It's nothing personal. It's just preparation. Lisa activated a final display. It showed a massive space station being constructed near Earth, bristling with weapons and shields. This is Fortress Terra, our new defensive command center. It will coordinate human defenses across all our space. Any attack on any human colony will trigger an immediate response from the entire species. You're militarizing, Thymine observed. We're surviving, Kyle replied. The galaxy has shown us that peaceful intentions aren't enough. The Vron attacked us despite 50 years of peaceful coexistence, so we're making sure everyone understands the cost of attacking humanity. Zektar's form pulsed desperately. The Council must stop them. They're too dangerous. Stop us from what? Kyle asked. Defending ourselves? We haven't attacked anyone, we haven't conquered territory. We've simply demonstrated that we can and will protect ourselves with overwhelming force. He paused, looking around the chamber at hundreds of alien faces showing fear, respect, and uncertainty. Let me be clear, Kyle continued. Humanity wants to be part of this galactic community. We want to trade, learn, explore, and grow together. But we will never be victims. We will never be conquered. And anyone who tries will learn why humans became the apex predator of their world. Through violence? Thymine asked. Through adaptation, Kyle corrected. We adapt faster than any species you've encountered. We took your technologies and improved them. We studied your tactics and countered them. We analyzed your psychology and exploited it. That's what humans do. We adapt. We overcome. We survive. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Then slowly, the Altarian delegate spoke. I motion to add humanity's proposed amendment to the Galactic Charter. Any unprovoked attack on humanity will be met with adaptive response. Seconded, the Quellian ambassador bubbled. One by one, other species voted. Even those who feared humanity recognized the wisdom of staying on their good side. The vote was nearly unanimous, with only the Vron opposing. As the session ended, Elder Thymine approached Kyle privately. Ambassador, your species terrifies me. Kyle nodded. Good. Terror keeps everyone honest. But Elder, remember this? We didn't start this fight. We just ended it. Very efficiently. Too efficiently, Thymine replied. The galaxy will never see humanity the same way again. That's the point, Kyle said. For 50 years you saw us as harmless newcomers. Now you see us as we really are. The question is, what will the galaxy do with that knowledge? Thymine's scales shifted through several colors before settling on resignation. We will do what all prey does when it recognizes a greater predator. We will be very, very careful not to provoke you. Kyle's expression softened slightly. We're not your predators, Elder. We're your neighbors. Treat us with respect and we'll be the best neighbors you could ask for. Threaten us. He glanced at the display still showing the captured Vron fleet. Well, the Vron have demonstrated what happens then. As delegates filed out of the chamber, each gave humanity's section a wide berth. The message had been received, loud and clear. Humanity was no longer the galaxy's newest members. They were its apex predators, and everyone now knew it. 6 months had passed since the Vron Empire's failed invasion of human space. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. The term pulling a Vron had spread through countless languages, meaning to fatally underestimate an opponent. Every bar, trading post, and diplomatic meeting buzzed with the same topic: humanity's revelation as the galaxy's most dangerous species. Admiral Jack Harrison sat in his office aboard the USS Defiance, now permanently stationed as Earth's primary defensive coordinator. The wall behind him displayed medals and commendations from 24 alien governments, all thanking humanity for showing restraint during the Vron incident. Jack found their fear amusing. They gave medals to the monster that chose not to eat them. The door chimed, and Elder Counselor Thymine entered. The ancient serpent had personally traveled to Earth for this meeting, something that hadn't happened in 300 years. His scales had taken on new colors since the Vron incident. Patterns that indicated deep thought and careful consideration. Elder Thymine, Jack stood and gestured to a specially modified chair that could accommodate the serpentine body. Welcome to the Defiance. Can I offer you something? Coffee? It's become quite popular among your people, I hear. Thymine settled into the chair with a sound like wind through leaves. Yes, I've developed quite a taste for it. Your people consume it before battle, correct? Jack poured 2 cups of black coffee. We consume it before everything. Battle, meetings, mornings, afternoons. It's less a pre-battle ritual and more a general addiction. Fascinating, Thymine said, taking a careful sip. Your species turns everything into both a comfort and a weapon. That's survival for you, Jack replied, sitting back down. So what brings you all the way to Earth, Elder? Thymine's scales shifted to serious colors. The Vron Empire has formally surrendered, complete and unconditional. They're requesting humanity's protection from the 17 species they previously conquered. Jack raised an eyebrow. They want us to protect them from their victims? Their former victims have been building fleets, Thymine explained. They smell blood in the water. The Vron Empire could face complete extinction without intervention. Jack leaned back, considering. 6 months ago, they tried to exterminate us. Now they want our protection. There's irony in that. Will you help them? Thymine asked. We'll consider it, Jack replied. If they're willing to make reparations to the species they conquered, return stolen territory, and submit to monitoring for the next century. We don't hold grudges, but we don't forget either. A knock at the door interrupted them. Lieutenant Emma Fitzgerald entered with a tablet showing urgent data. Admiral, we're detecting massive energy signatures from the Magellanic Cloud. Something is coming this way. Something big. Jack studied the data, his expression growing serious. How big are we talking, Lieutenant? Bigger than anything in our database, sir. Energy readings are off the scale. Whatever it is, it's moving at speeds that shouldn't be possible. Thymine's scales turned pale. The ancient archives speak of something beyond the galactic edge. The Devourers, they were called. Civilizations that consume entire galaxies. When will they arrive? Jack asked Emma. At current speed, 6 weeks, sir. Jack stood up, his command presence filling the room. Send an alert to all human colonies. Activate Contingency Plan Omega-7 and contact the Ghost Division. Tell Colonel Gonzalez we might need her Special Projects Division. The Special Projects Division? Thymine asked, his voice showing concern. Jack smiled grimly. Elder, what we showed you 6 months ago. That was our conventional military. Special Projects is where we keep the really dangerous stuff. More dangerous than soldiers who can phase through walls and survive in vacuum? Much more dangerous, Jack confirmed. We've been experimenting with captured Vron technology, combined with Bendathi phase systems and Quellian energy manipulation. We've created weapons that we honestly weren't sure we should ever use. He activated a holographic display showing classified projects. Thymine's scales shifted through colors of fear as he read, Project Blackout, a weapon that could turn stars into weapons. Project Swarm, self-replicating combat drones that could consume entire fleets. Project Void, artificial black holes as defensive systems. You've been preparing for something bigger than the Vron, Thymine realized. We've been preparing for everything, Jack corrected. Humans have a saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. The Vron were not the worst thing we could imagine. Another officer entered, Captain Bobby Chen from the USS Warrior. Admiral, the Galactic Council is requesting humanity take leadership of the combined defense fleet against the incoming threat. They want us to lead? Jack asked, surprised. Unanimously, Bobby confirmed. Even the Vron voted yes. Apparently, everyone agrees that if something is coming to eat the galaxy, they want the apex predators on their side. Jack turned to Thymine. Elder, this changes things. If humanity leads the defense, we do it our way. That means total integration of technologies, shared intelligence, and following human battle doctrine. Which is? Thymine asked. Hit first, hit hard, and keep hitting until the threat is gone. Jack replied. No negotiation with existential threats. No mercy for things that want to eat our galaxy. No holding back to be polite. Thymine's scales shifted to agreement patterns. The Council anticipated this. They've already agreed to your terms, all of them. All of them? Jack was genuinely surprised. Admiral, your species terrified us 6 months ago, but you also showed restraint. You could have destroyed the Vron utterly, but you chose to leave them alive as a lesson. That combination of power and control is exactly what we need now. Jack nodded and activated the ship's communication system. This is Admiral Harrison, to all human forces. We have a Code Omega situation. Something is coming from outside the galaxy. The Galactic Council has requested we lead the defense. All ships are to report to staging areas immediately. Ghost Division is authorized to activate special projects. We're going to war. He turned back to Thymine. Elder, I need you to understand something. The restraint we showed with the Vron? That was because they're part of our galaxy. They're neighbors, even if they're bad neighbors. But something coming from outside to consume our entire galaxy? That's different. We won't show restraint. We'll show them why humanity survived everything Earth threw at us. What do you need from the Council? Thymine asked. Everything, Jack replied. Every ship, every weapon, every piece of technology. But most importantly, trust. Trust that humans know how to fight extinction-level threats because we've been doing it our entire existence. Over the next 6 weeks, the galaxy transformed. Human engineers worked alongside every species, integrating technologies in ways that had never been imagined. Altarian shields powered by Quellian generators, controlled by human tactical systems. Frond crystal weapons enhanced with human targeting algorithms. Bendathi phase technology applied to entire fleets. The combined fleet was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. 5,000 ships from 40 species, all unified under human command. But more importantly, humanity revealed weapons they had kept hidden. Planet-sized defense platforms that could fire beams across solar systems. Swarms of drones that moved like living organisms. Bombs that could collapse space itself. When the Devourers arrived, massive biomechanical entities each the size of moons, they expected easy prey. They had consumed thousands of galaxies before this one. They had never faced humans. The battle lasted 72 hours. Humanity's doctrine of overwhelming force and tactical adaptation turned what should have been the galaxy's extinction into its greatest victory. The Devourers were not just defeated, they were utterly destroyed, their technology captured and studied, their threat ended permanently. In the aftermath, as the galaxy celebrated survival, Elder Thymine found Jack again. Your species doesn't just survive threats, Thymine observed. You become stronger from them. Jack nodded. That's evolution, Elder. Pressure makes diamonds. Threats make humans more dangerous. And now the galaxy knows. We're not just members of your community. We're its guardians. And if you ever become the threat? Thymine asked quietly. Jack smiled. Then the galaxy better hope we've taught you well enough to stop us. But Elder, we don't want to conquer. We want to explore. To grow to protect what's ours. The galaxy is ours now, not to rule but to guard. As news spread of humanity's victory over the Devourers, a new age began in the galaxy. Species no longer asked if they could afford to be humanity's enemy. They asked if they could afford not to be humanity's friend. The answer was always no.